let me invite our panel speakers to the stage, please. To the seats, yes. Very good point. And we are again perfectly on time, so thank you for that. And the best part of the day so far hasn't been telling you about Metabuilding, but it's been talking with you at the coffee break. And during the lunch, that's the entire point. In the afternoon, we also have space available to have conversations. And Paul wanted me to remind everyone again that you're welcome to take a dossier, Facades from the Best Side, on the way out. We're happy to have those in circulation. So now, after the coffee break, we'll have the next panel discussion on the human dimension, on how co-creation is reshaping renovation, moderated by a fine gentleman from Italy, Luiggi Perissich, from FEDERCOSTRUZIONI. Luiggi, please.
Yeah, Perissich was perfect. FEDERCOSTRUZIONI, you have to work a little bit on it. Anyway, I'm glad to introduce this session about the human dimension and how co-creation is reshaping construction. Renovation in construction has traditionally been seen as a technical exercise, upgrading buildings for energy efficiency, safety, or compliance. But today we are witnessing a profound shift. Renovation is no longer just about bricks, insulation, or digital tools. It is about people. It is about the human dimension. This collaborative approach ensures that renovation is not only technically sound, but also culturally meaningful, socially inclusive, and responsive to the real human needs. So the result of this approach is that projects are more sustainable, more resilient, and more widely accepted. Co-creation reduces resistance, increases trust, and delivers outcomes that feel authentic to the people they serve. So we will discuss about these issues with three speakers. I will start with Carmine Pascale, that is a civil engineer and coordinates European research project at STRESS, SCARL, a construction-oriented RTO consortium from Italy. STRESS has been recognized by the Italian Ministry of Research as the high technology district for sustainable constructions. Based in Naples, its mission is to promote innovation in the construction value chain by creating collaborative ecosystems that connect research, business, and territory. STRESS is also part of the Build for People Innovation Clusters network. Within the Metabuilding Labs project, STRESS has developed the Italian O3 test beds and leads Work Package 7, focusing on technology developments that use Metabuilding Labs pilots as living labs. A question for you, Carmine, I hope you know how to answer. Regarding the pilot activities, which are the main problems related to innovative technology, testing in real buildings, technically, regulatory, or social?
That's the question.
Perhaps
So
you have to.
maybe we can move also the slides here. Yeah, we've been testing innovative technologies on real buildings, and we have a different kind of. You have seen the pilot module in the platform previously presented. So we've been working on the real buildings, testing the real technologies to see if they were really fit for their use, for what they were designed for. We've been doing different kind of buildings. We have residential buildings, office buildings in different parts of Europe, in France, in Turkey, in Tarragona, in Spain, in different parts of Spain also. The point is, obviously each kind of solution and each kind of building present different technical problems that have been approached and discussed and co-discussed and co-solved, because we have developed a methodology. We have applied a methodology to this kind of activities, and that includes different stakeholders. So different stakeholders are related to different buildings and that use different technologies, and to the different buildings are associated also different users. So the issues are of both of three levels. Yeah, we have technical issues that are usually tackled, but we have been understanding which are the regulatory problems with each category of building and each category of product. But the main important, the biggest importance of the activities is related to the social aspect. Because we have been involving people and discussing with the people to understand their acceptability of the solution and getting their feedbacks to, let's say, enhance each solution was the main part of the activities. So which are the main issues? Three important issues, but including the people in the feedback was probably the most important one.
Thank you. This is really the spirit of the transition from energy efficient building, PPP, to build for people. We are perfectly in line with that. Now Pablo Fernández, Dr. Pablo Fernández is a civil engineer and serves as R&D director at HORMIPRESA, where he leads innovation projects in the field of industrialized construction. He has overseen the development of two key technologies, the hybrid wall, a load-bearing hybrid timber concrete sandwich, well tested in a full-scale pilot at HORMIPRESA's facilities, and thin insulated facade panels for buildings retrofitting, validated through a demonstration project in Asturias, a TION project in Asturias. The question for you, regarding the refurbishment panels, considering your experience developing innovative facade panels, what were the main challenges you faced when selecting a pilot site and matching your technology to an existing building, particularly in terms of logistics, documentation, and design adaptation? Please.
Thank you for the question, Luiggi. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to briefly introduce myself and my company. My name is Pablo. I'm the Research and Development Manager of HORMIPRESA. We are a precast concrete manufacturer based in Barcelona, in Spain. Currently, we have three production centers, one close to Madrid and the other two inside Catalonia. And our market basically encompasses all over Spain and southern France. We build basically all kind of buildings, regardless their use, and also single-family houses. And well, answering to your question, Luiggi, I brought here some slides of what we did. As you said, Luiggi, we got to develop two different technologies within the project consortium. The first one, which you are watching here, were, let's say, large-scale concrete insulated panels for building retrofitting. Our idea was to test if these new elements for us were, let's say, feasible to be manufactured and to be implemented in a real building, because we know that retrofitting of buildings, of all buildings, it's going to be a business line that is going to grow in the following years. So we, as a concrete precasters, wanted to study if we have a place in that market. We got to test our panels in a real pilot, which is something quite difficult out of a project or a consortium or an association like this. And well, of course we had to face several challenges. First one is because, of course, Metabuilding Labs is always seeking a synergy between building owners, technology providers, etc. So usually the ideal situation is to find a building that needs to be retrofitted and a technology provider who is developing a retrofitting technology for buildings. This was the case, but that usually have some minor drawbacks. I mean, usually buildings that has to be retrofitted are old and all their documentation is paper-based, and that's challenging for us because normally we have to design, develop all our technology, but also we have to develop a digital model of the buildings because they are old and the documentation is not up to date. That was one of the first challenges we had to tackle. Fortunately, everything went good, thanks also to the collaboration with the pilot owners and all the people from Pipasa, the public company who managed this building. And also we had to prepare very well the logistics, because those panels are heavy, have to be approached very close to the facade, but we are using a crane, and as you can see in the right corner, top right, the building had a part going out of the plane of the facade on the top of the roof, and that made things more difficult. And those kind of challenges are the things that you have to face, but you have to accept that, because this is part of the price of using real buildings to test our technologies. But as you can see in the bottom right, at the end, our technology fitted quite good the pilot building, and we are very happy with the results and with everything we did within the construction.
Thank you very much. Now Marta. Marta de los Ríos White is the head of capacity building and research at ENoLL. She's a process engineer with a master's degree in sustainable cities and extensive international project management experience. With more than 10 years of professional expertise, she has specialized in sustainable and participative process improvement, transformation, co-creation of solutions, and capacity building. She brings proven abilities in strategic and systemic thinking, leadership, and teamwork. Her work has focused primarily on project management and capacity building, supporting the implementation of international cooperation projects funded by various donors, particularly the European Commission. Yeah, perfect. Question for you. What is the biggest misconception you encounter when organizations try to call themselves living labs? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Luiggi. So when we are talking about living labs, we understand it in a way that we have seen that is not the common way that people understand it. The way that we have seen is that a lot of people have the misconception that living labs are either a physical place only, or just a building, or that it is a project that has a beginning and a clear end. The way that we understand living labs in ENoLL, and for the last 20 years we have been discussing this definition and also certifying living labs that follow this way of working, is that we are talking about a systematic approach and a systematic way of working in real life environments, focused and centered in the users and working with the different stakeholders. So that is the biggest misconception. It's not about what you are doing, but like testing or co-creating or just having a building where you are doing stuff and real nice things, but it's about the people and who you are as an organization. It's what is ingrained in your DNA and what you can actually bring forward to different type of projects, and not just for a specific month 1 to month 60 project.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very interesting. Okay, now here. Back to Carmine, also about piloting. Regarding the technical feedback related to the piloting activities, which are the main lessons learned from the pilots? How did the pilots support the technical development of the innovative technologies?
Well, as I said before, we have been experiencing the whole process from the, let's say, from the pilot technology matchmaking to the permission, tender, authorization issues, and then the real integration of the design, the technology for its integration in that building, and installation issues. We have been facing them, experiencing them, so that we have been preparing ourselves for providing this as a future service. So we understand, we have had issues with shipping and customs, because we have been testing outside the EU borders. We have grown experience in setting up sensor systems, because we want to know the performance of our solutions, the real performance. We want to measure it. But the main issue is that we have been able to discover problems and to solve them. So we have had issues and we have been able to solve those issues. We have been designing novel solutions and we've been able to also adapt and redesign them. So we have grown an experience throughout all the steps to provide this as a service in the future. So we have been defining a methodology taken from Marta's approach, from the Living Lab approach, and we've been delivering, we want to deliver this as a service to innovate, to enhance the technologies, and we have grown the experience to do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Pablo, back to you. Regarding the hybrid wall, during the installation of the hybrid wall and its monitoring system, what were the main technical challenges you encountered, particularly regarding sensor setup, data integration, and cybersecurity, and how did this impact the start of the data collection? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Luiggi. I'm going to briefly introduce the hybrid wall for those who don't know this technology. We are, as I said, a precast concrete manufacturer, but as part of our decarbonization policy, we are developing new possibilities or new hybrid elements that significantly decrease the carbon footprint of a structural element. In this case, we made this sandwich bearing wall in which the structural part is made of CLT, I mean timber, and the outer layer, the finishing layer, is made out of concrete with an insulation layer in between. This was a development that started together with the project, I have to say, but as you can see in the slide, this element is intended for newly constructed buildings. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And because of that, because it is intended for newly constructed buildings, we couldn't use an existing pilot. So we proposed to the coordinators of the project to build our own pilot in our own premises with the support of the project. We did. Everything went good. The pilot was built more than 2 years ago, and it is part of our technical office, and it is really okay. We have no pathologies. Everything is going good. We are very happy with this development. And as part of the development, for us, was very important to know how this element behaves in real conditions. And for that, we needed monitoring. And the project helped us a lot with that, because in our company, in the research and development department, we didn't have any specialist in monitoring, in configuring sensors, that stuff. And the consortium really helped us to put everything to work, to tell us what kind of sensors we had to use to make the more accurate measurements. And I have to say I'm very happy. Also, the project developed a special platform to access all the data. All the graphs are very clear. I can download all the data whenever I want. And for me, it's very important. This part of the monitoring has been very, very good for us and very good for the product, because we can also show to our potential customers that this technology is a new development, but it is working and it is being analyzed very accurately and very professionally. Of course, at the beginning, we hadn't worked with sensors before, and we had some minor issues configuring everything. Sorry. Also, the firewall of our company caused us several incidents, but finally we put everything to work. And I have to say that this technology that was developed within the framework of the project has reached the market. We have our first building that is going to be built using completely this technology. our customer already paid, I have to say, so the project will be a reality in the following months. And this wouldn't be the case without the help of the Metabuilding Lab, so I have to thank all the people, all the coordinators, all the people that supported us during this long trip.
Thank you very much. I think that we should perhaps on our site put some comments, particularly of companies that have participated to the project, how happy they are and what the results they achieved, because to be successful in European research, I think that involving companies is becoming more and more important, and I think that one of the objectives of the Commission is also to accelerate the transition from innovation to the market, and this is a very good example of how this project has achieved this. I think it's very, very good, and thank you for telling us about your experience. Now, Marta, now that the misconception is out of the picture, how can technical testing teams begin incorporating user-centered methods without drastically changing their current operation?
Thank you, Luigi. And this connects back as well to what my colleagues here have been saying, and is how can we start closing the gap between the TRL, the technological readiness level, and the SRL, the social readiness level. So how can we actually bring solutions from a testing ground to the market, and that can be accepted by the public. So another misconception is that an organization needs to fully change the way they are working so they can start including co-creation in their different activities. But they can start with light and very simple activities, such as let's have a conversation with the different actors that are involved in the process of a testing or in your new technology, asking simple questions like, what do you think can go wrong? What would you like to see here? What would success look like to you with these technologies? Then when you're going to the testing, so before we were talking about the development of a technology, when we go to the testing itself, you can start including the people to really understand if your testing is reflecting the messiness of real life. So if it's not a fully controlled environment, but you can actually see what is happening in a real environment, and start asking questions like, what would work for you in your real life with the technology, or how would you modify this in a way that makes sense for you as an inhabitant or someone that is interacting with the technology every day. And finally, my recommendation would be to start interacting as well with our own network. So ENoLL is a network of certified living labs. What does this certification mean is that we provide a seal of quality that says that these different organizations are working with the systematic approach and long-term vision that I was mentioning before. This doesn't mean that the 180 plus living labs that we have certified have buildings. They are doing a methodology, and some of them have buildings, or some of them have access to a network of buildings. So when you access the ENoLL network, you can access living labs that already have the experience of engaging with the stakeholders, that have the methodologies and the tools in place for actually engaging and co-creating with actors. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you don't have to actually embed the co-creation in your organization, but leverage this knowledge that comes from other organizations. And that is also one of the main reasons we joined the Metabuilding Association, to bring this knowledge and to bring this connection to living labs, so we can move from test beds to pilot sites to living labs in the process of closing this gap of TRL to SRL.
Very clear, Marta. Thank you very much. Thank you to the panelists. I think that we have to move to the next one. We have finished, I think. Thank you.
Excellent.